Hello everyone, I'm Hussein. In today's video, I want to argue that having a positive mindset and a positive view of stress can turn it from a force that hinders learning into a facilitating element, a helper. And I also want to assert that we may be able to improve our learning by inducing stress in ourselves artificially during the learning process. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Before we start, let me tell you a story. It is said that in the Middle Ages, in some parts of the world, after teaching children something important, they threw them into the river. It is said that the stress of being thrown into the raging and cold river and the fear of trying to survive made the children remember the lesson well. I don't know how true this story is, and I don't know where the origin of the story is, but it points to the main point that I want to talk about in this video. Our perception of stress is greatly influenced by the modern definition of this phenomenon. In the modern world, stress is usually considered an unpleasant, unhealthy, and destructive force. And we are supposed to do everything in our power to reduce the amount of stress that we experience throughout life. Otherwise, we will age quickly and suffer from various diseases. Instead of this view, let's look at stress in another way. Let's say that stress is a natural response to unfamiliar stimuli and situations. It is always a natural part of biological life and can help us if managed and used correctly. Having this positive view greatly changes the effects that stress and stressful situations have on us. Believing that stress is a tool that our body and mind possesses that allows us to perform better in difficult situations makes us not quickly come to the conclusion that the situation we are in is unhealthy and dangerous when we experience stress. It makes it easier for us to willingly and enthusiastically accept difficult tasks and challenges and face them. In simple words, when we interpret a situation as an obstacle to achieving our goals, the resulting stress has a negative effect on us. And when we interpret a situation as a challenge to wrestle with and test our resolve, stress has a positive effect on us. Which is enjoyable and which is hard to bear. Having to endure difficult conditions that are forced on us against our will, or facing a challenge willingly that is aimed to test whether we can emerge victorious. Which one of these two happens in life often depends on our interpretation of situations and our point of view. To avoid misunderstandings in this video, let's differentiate two words that we will use to convey the correct meaning. Stress and distress. Let's say stress is a state of increased cognitive and physical functions or mental tension caused by a difficult or unfamiliar situation that can be accompanied by increased heart rate, rapid breathing, hypertension, and increased cortisol levels in the blood. And let's say distress means a state of danger or extreme need that is so long and intense that it may cause pain or damage to the body, a part of the body, or the mind. In simple words, we can say in this video, we want to call very intense and prolonged stress and our reaction to situations that are really dangerous for our health, such as war, accidents, etc., as distress. Stress can improve learning. Think about it. Probably the most memorable lessons you learned in life were in stressful, crucial, and difficult stages of your life. The research done on the effects of stress on learning complex skills in human beings is not yet complete, and these effects are still not completely clearly understood. But it seems that the presence of stress, up to a certain intensity and duration in people while they are learning, can improve the learning process. But it can hinder it if the experience stress is too intense or too long. If the stress is not too intense and not too long, our motivation, concentration, and accuracy will increase and we will learn better. As you see in this chart, as the stress levels are rising, so is our performance. But up to a certain point. After stress, the intensity of stress or the duration of stress surpasses this optimal level, our performance will start to drop and the negative effects of stress will start showing themselves. Moreover, the timing of when we experience stress is also important. Let's divide the learning process into 4 stages: learning or encoding, consolidation, retrieval, and updating. It seems that experiencing stress right before or after the encoding process can have a positive effect, as you see in this picture, signified by these 2 arrows above this line. This means experiencing stress, for example, right before or after a class, a study session, an unfamiliar or difficult endeavor, or a new experience, such as riding a horse for the first time. This is the reason why in the story that I told you before, they threw the children in the river right after an important lesson. Note that stress in other stages of learning seems to have a negative effect on the learning process. For example, being stressed during the retrieval phase, a long time before the encoding process, can have a negative impact. Also, experiencing stress during the updating phase. An example for this would be being stressed while participating in a practical or urban driving test when you want to get your driver's license. This will make your performance worse. Or having stress while taking an exam, a written exam, or maybe while your manager at work has asked you to perform a task and he or she is watching you do it. Now we arrive at the main point of this video. What can we do to use stress to improve our learning? In order to create stress artificially in ourselves right before or after learning, we can do several things. One thing we can do is we can take a cold shower or ice bath. Sudden contact with cold water can cause us to be stressed. Also, we can drink strong coffee. Although caffeine does not stress us per se, large amounts of caffeine, such as the amount found in espresso, can lead to the increase of cortisol, also known as the stress hormone, in our bodies. Also, coffee increases heart rate and blood pressure. These two are among the symptoms that we experience when we are stressed. Next is hyperventilation, or breathing fast, taking deep breaths and double breathing. Breathing fast can be demonstrated like this. Taking fast and short breaths. Also, taking deep breaths while we are, for example, studying. And lastly, a technique that I call double breathing. It shows something like this. It is basically taking another breath right before we finish the inhaling process of the first breath. So we first inhale. Before we exhale, we do another full inhale. This fills our lungs with an extraordinary amount of oxygen. This double breathing also can happen when we run a cold shower or when we jump into an ice bath, for example. These breathing techniques do not cause us stress, but performing them can increase the amount of oxygen more than average that reaches our brain during the learning process, which can improve our performance during learning. And secondly, rapid breathing is one of the side effects of being stressed. and our body may interpret rapid breathing as being stress, and we may experience the positive effects of stress during learning. Next, thinking about past traumatic events. When thinking about events that have caused us tremendous amounts of stress before, such as a car accident, a heated verbal argument with a loved one, a street fight, and etc., our mind and body experience the same states that we experienced during that event. It's like simulating it all over again. Many people experience this unwantedly in the form of flashbacks and ruminating. By thinking about the traumatic events that have happened to us, we can artificially create stress in ourselves. And lastly, use of medicines and drugs. Drugs such as cigarettes, and if you can call cigarettes a drug, and alcoholic beverages can lead to the release of cortisol and the rise of stress-related symptoms in our bodies. Also, some pills such as Ritalin are said to increase blood cortisol levels. It is important for me to say that I do not have a medical degree, and you are solely responsible for performing any of the techniques described in this video. If you suffer from a previous illness, heart disease for example, avoid stressing yourself. Consult your doctor before doing any of the things mentioned in this video. I am in no way responsible for any harm caused to you as a result of following the techniques that I have described in this video. All the content mentioned here is only educational and is mere theory. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any special technique to improve your learning, please share it with us in the comments section. Also, I have a few articles that I have used as sources for making this video, the links for which are posted in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss future videos. Share your suggestions with us in the comments section. If you have any specific requests for any specific videos, I would also love to see it in the comments section. Follow me on Instagram to contact me and to see more educational videos such as this one. Until I see you in the next video, take care and goodbye.